Welcome back, race fans, to another episode of Buckle Up, an ultra running conversation. Mandy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. I'm back in Windsor.
You are back from being on the road, and I'm glad you're back. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been on the road. It really feels like I've been on the road for a month. I've had like a couple of days in at home, but I'm back-ish until I had to head to Leadville. But we just wrapped up the Wild West relay that we talked about before, that 200-mile relay race from Fort Collins to Steamboat, which took place last weekend. So it's been a very busy and full few weeks.
Yeah, you wrapped it up. It looked like you came back to town late last week, and then you had a 5K over the weekend somewhere. It was like
Whoops.
neon themed or something weird. I thought I saw pictures on social media of day glow stuff and night glow
It was
stuff.
a glow in the dark. It was my first night glow in the dark run. So it was a lot of fun. We lit up the course. We had a home lighting company come and light up different sections of the course in a big tunnel the runners ran through. A lot of fun, not going to lie. Signage back out for a race 7 days after a 200-mile point-to-point race across Colorado mountains was a little PTSD. But it was just a 5K.
So it was only a 5K. Gosh, you could do that.
Only 5K, only 130 runners, whereas our relay was 420 runners. So huge undertaking to a baby undertaking. But now we're back at headquarters and ready to put on a different hat, my crew pacing hat, cheering hat, to go to Leadville.
You have a friend coming to town. Yeah, I have a friend coming to town from maybe San Diego area.
Yeah, a friend coming in from San Diego. I met him at Across the Years, and then he came out and ran Belgian Medal. You met him, Sarek. And then another friend that's local here to Windsor, Chris Peterson, has been training his booty off to run Leadville. So it'll be both of their first times at Leadville and your 10th
That's right.
buckle.
I am attempting to go for my 10th buckle at the Leadville Trail 100. I do have 11 starts and 9 finishes at Leadville. My first being in 2010. I'm super excited about it. And I got this cool hat made for it.
Kind of looks like Batman. Like I've always thought that about their course, but when you put the black on the white.
Yeah. But so
That's cool,
it is just, I know you know, but for those that don't know, this isn't Batman. It is the Leadville Trail 100 course profile. And I took it straight off of Strava.
Batman.
Yeah, I took it straight off of Strava. But Leadville is a great segue to our guest today, Kendra Kettelhut. We worked together in the past. She and I worked to get her up and ready and moving for Leadville a few years ago. I think in the last year. I think it's been in the last year, but she's moved on to a different coach. And she is coming back out to finish what she started.
Yeah, Kendra has an awesome story, a big reason why she's laser focused on getting through this race and really tuned into everything that it takes to get here. It was fun to hear her strategies, what she's done leading up to this week, including really spending a lot of time in Leadville. I think more obviously like the physical benefits of being in Leadville coming from sea level, but it really feels like after talking to her, a lot more of it is more just being immersed in the community and the environment and being there for the show, like being there for the hype and meeting new friends. That was kind of my takeaway, which kind of surprised me at the beginning. I was thinking it was really going to be more like performance focused, but it was fun to hear her talk about all of the other things that she's gained from just immersing herself into the Leadville family for the last few months.
Yeah, that's right. Kendra shares that it's been a decade in the making. And I think I might have even made her realize that. She seemed a little taken back when I said it's been 10 years, but she first showed up in Leadville in 2015 on a whim. And a decade later, now she's towing the line for the Leadville Trail 100 to go for that buckle and that finish, that elusive finish that she's been looking for. So great episode. Kendra is a great gal. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll be up in Leadville this weekend. Obviously, Mandy just mentioned that she's going to be pacing Z and another fellow athlete from the Fort Collins area. What was his name again?
Chris.
So Z and Chris, best luck to you guys as well. Hope to see you out on the course. I'll be up there with my crew. We'll have a pretty big spread of people. Simon and Nora are coming into town. To hang out at the race and be spectators and cheer. So they should be around Twin Lakes if you're in the area. Always stop in and say hi to those guys. They would appreciate it. And obviously Mandy will be out there. You're going to be at Twin?
I will be at Twin. I have a tent site at Twin for both of those athletes, and then I'll be bopping around the rest of the course. So please stop and say hi to me if we haven't met yet. And we've been introduced through this show. I'd love to meet you guys out there. And if there's anything I can help with, I live and die for, all things running. I love it, but I really really, really do love being out and just crewing and helping athletes. So
You
I
should
can't
bring my
wait.
extra
I'm
glasses. You
excited.
should bring my glasses from last year in case someone needs them.
You're ruining the surprise, Brian. If you need a pair of glasses, I'm going to have Brian's pair of Bro Amazon Prime sunglasses. So if you lose your sunglasses, your crew needs some sunglasses, I will have extras with me. Come and find me at Twin Lakes.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will get back to you next week with a new show after Leadville. But this week, all things Leadville. Thanks for tuning in. Please share, like, comment, and subscribe. And hit us up. Let us know if you have a guest in mind or someone you want to hear us talk to or chat about with all things ultrarunning.
Brian, good luck.
Thanks. Hi, Kendra. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to join us on the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Kendra, where are you at right now?
I'm currently in Leadville, renting a room at a friend's house. So I'm actually in said room in Leadville.
Leadville, huh? 10,000 feet. We love Leadville, Colorado, 10,200 feet above sea level. They just had a big, giant bicycle race this weekend, but there's something else coming up after that.
It's like a 5K?
Yeah.
Oh, the 10K was Sunday, so it's not that one.
No, I meant, is there a 5K coming up or something? Like a half marathon?
Times like 1,000. Yeah. No,
Somewhere between those two is the Leadville Trail 100. It is up on August 16th, and Kendra, you're up there, and you've been up there for quite a while. You were just going to share before I cut you off and said I wanted to record this part.
Yeah.
But you were just about to tell us how long you've been in Leadville, and then let's back up even another step and start with where you're from and where you currently live outside of Leadville.
Sure. So I came up here actually back in June for a couple weeks for the camp, for the marathon, which I come up for most years. And then I went back to San Diego, which is where I live most of the time, and then came back up here in July so that I could start really getting acclimated and just train up here as much of the summer that I could.
Been a resident of Leadville all summer. That's awesome training.
That was the goal. That was definitely
Acclimatization.
Did you come up for the 50? I can't remember. I know you were there for the marathon. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't here for the 50. So I skipped that window, but I did get back here like the last 2 weeks of July, right after. Yeah.
So how's Leadville, Colorado? I haven't been up there since the marathon, I don't think, actually.
It's been phenomenal. Leadville is one of my favorite places in the whole world. So this was a goal of mine for a long time to spend the summer up here. And truly, honestly, I'm looking to buy property because I want to spend every summer up here because I love it so much. It's very special to me. So yeah, it's been such a privilege to be able to be here and to be able to train and to just meet people, and it's been phenomenal being up here.
We usually start the show a little bit differently, but I think I'm just going to start diving right into it because we're here at this point. But why Leadville? What is so special about Leadville? What is the lure of Leadville? And maybe give us a little bit of your history of running the races up there and this particular year coming back for the 100.
Okay, so that's kind of a long story.
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
We're here for it.
So, I grew up in Denver, so Leadville is not unfamiliar to me. I camped up here when I was, in high school and college. But I didn't start running until my late 20s. So, I'm not going to go that far back, but I started coming up here in 2015. And I was running marathons at the time. I was not running ultras. And the reason I signed up for that race at all was because, unfortunately, my dad was dying. And so I was visiting in Denver and I was trained for marathons. I'd been running marathons in Chicago. And so I just looked up to see if there was a marathon happening in Colorado that I could then take some time for myself in that really difficult time. Just so happened that the Leadville Marathon was happening that week. So I signed up 2 days before the race, never run it, never, I was like, I'm marathon trained, so I'm fine, right? There was no accommodation. I signed up. I came up 11 p.m. the night before, ran the race 7 a.m. the next day or whenever it started because it's changed. And until this year, had my best time ever. It was the fastest time that I had because I didn't acclimate at all. But fast forward, so that was a pretty a special time, a special race for me, given what was going on. And fast forward to 2016, my dad had passed. For those who don't know, the marathon used to always be on Father's Day weekend. Just so happened, that way. And that was the hardest year that I had. It was super tough. I ran in honor of my dad. And that year, I got last ass on the pass because I almost didn't finish that race. It was literally down to like 30 seconds left. And I finished that race. The race director was Josh, I think.
Josh Cooley.
Cooley. Yes.
I don't know how I know that, but it was Josh Cooley.
Yeah. So he, at the end of the awards, which I stuck around for that year, I don't know why, he had given out all the coins for all the people who placed in their age, and he had one coin left. And he offered that coin to me because he said, I saw you at the last aid. I didn't think you were going to finish. You dug deep. You finished. Do you want this coin to run the 100? And I was like, well, yes, but I can't run it this year. So I ended up running it in 2017. I did not finish in 2017, but that is the path that has gotten me to where I'm at now, which is doing everything in my power to, I've come back for the marathon and subsequent years, but this particular race is very, very important to me. Just in how I even came across the 100 and the opportunity to run it back in 2017. And now like redemption and finishing that race. So yeah, it's pretty special.
That's quite the story, isn't it? It's awesome when you can tie such meaning to a race, and not just a race, but a race series. So it sounds like you've done several of them, which is awesome, because then you get to discover different parts of Leadville. But thanks for sharing that.
For sure.
That's tough.
A race series, even like community, right? I mean, Leadville has it all there. It's super small and super quaint. You're ready to tell me something. I want to hear it.
Well, there is no place. So I've run ultras in various locations, and I trained in San Diego, and there's a running community there, which is lovely, but there is something about this place, and I don't know how to explain it to anyone. I mean, if you've been here, if you've run races here, you would understand, but it's like the people that it draws here. I have met so many people in accommodations, on race day, just through the whole experience of being here every single year. I mean, I probably have like 20 new friends this year, legitimately, that I will stay in touch with. There's actually a cool story with a friend who was running the Idaho Springs half this year. I met him in 2016. And to be truthfully honest, like he scooped me up, got me to finish that race. He was one of the people that I connected with on that race. Never met him before. And like, he was like, no, keep going. Like, keep going. He got me to get moving. And truly, like, it's friendships like that I have made on every single one of these races. And whatever Leadville draws, whatever kind of people, kind of athletes it draws, it's a very special kind of human. It's just the most caring, authentic, like driven athletes that I've truly found at any race series.
I agree. I share that sentiment with you, Kendra. I think ever since the first time I took my family there, my kids have fallen in love with it. And so we always talk, and my husband too, we still talk about like, let's buy a house in Leadville so that we can live there and train there and vacation when we want to. It has a magical draw. Yes, Brian, you're going back for your 10, so you agree too.
I showed up in Leadville in 2010, and we didn't have a family just yet at the time. It was just my wife and I. And I thought, man, it'd be cool to buy a house up here. And if I would have jumped on it then, I could have afforded it.
Well, I'm still gonna jump on it because
let's buy a house. We'll just go in together and then trade off weekends of
but we both
want
training.
The
same weekend. We want the race weekends. We could share. It just has to be big enough for both of our families.
That's true.
Kendra, you showed up at 15s a decade ago. Not to date us all, but yes, you showed up in 2015. A decade ago, and you're still here. You still have this passion. You're still driving it. You know, a lot of it's inspired with the passing of your father, Father's Day, the community around Leadville. Is there more to the why as well? Is there other things that kind of contribute to that in the last decade that you're willing to share with us?
I mean, there's a whole lot of pieces to my running journey, but my main why here in Leadville is just this place is magical. And one of my parts of my why is that I can, because I can, like, and my dad never got sober. I got sober 12 years ago. That's part of my journey. It certainly, I started running right before that. And I think that was one of the things that definitely saved me. I know that's something that you and I have connected on. And yeah, so that was kind of a big part of getting me into my running journey and part of my why of running. Leadville specific, obviously the events of my family and my father, but just, yeah, the mountains are beautiful. There's obviously lots of mountain races. I don't know. This one is just extra, extra special. And yeah, a big one that came to me when it sounds so simple, but is because I can. Because I'm healthy. I have the ability to do stuff like this and test my limits and see how far I can push myself. And I know we had worked together previously, and that was like one of my first real dedications to like this sport and getting myself to the next level. And because I've been running for, I don't know, can I do math right now, 8 years without, just on my own, which is great, and you can do a lot on your own, but it certainly is really helpful to have someone who knows a lot more than you, who's gone through these things and like maybe run the races that you want to run to help you get to that next level. So really it's just, I've put in the work. It's, all of those reasons. There's so many. But
just to catch you up to speed, Mandy, and those listeners that don't know, Kendra and I worked together for, I don't know, more than a year, I think, at least, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a year and a half. Time flies somehow in this space, in all spaces. But we worked together in the past. Kendra currently has a different coach, which I'm so excited that she's doing the work and getting it done and seeing results. So no hard feelings. Obviously, we still communicate, Kendra and I. We also share a sobriety story, a general sobriety story. We don't share in the same sobriety story. Each is our own. But it sounds like Kendra's been sober 12 plus years, and I'm going on 9. So we have some longevity in the system and the processes. So I think when you coach athletes that share in other things, whether it's other families with kids that are your age, or in a sobriety story like Kendra and I have shared interest in a common bond in, it's really easy to connect. I mean, it just makes it super easy to connect with those people. And then obviously, like this last week, I was like, oh, I know Kendra's up there. I really want to reach out to her and see if we could get her on the show and just kind of like talk through the whole process. So yeah, so those are the great parts of coaching, right? I mean, for me as a coach, I mean, like those are the things that I really enjoy, like sharing in those moments and those special stories with athletes that are like-minded as myself.
Absolutely. And that was actually like a happy accident, because that was not what drew us together initially. But when I found that out, it's those bonus connection points are so nice. And obviously sobriety is kind of I don't know, it's something that we go through that other people don't understand. It's a point of our journeys that I think too, I don't know, a lot of crazy ultra athletes are sober. It seems to be
the sober story isn't a new one in the ultra endurance world, by any means. I mean, we've endured a lot, and then now we just took drugs and alcohol out of the system, and now we're still enduring, pushing ourselves in different ways, right?
We're choosing to endure tough things.
We're choosing to endure.
We didn't. Well, I mean, we chose, but all relative.
Sure. Yeah. I was going to ask how you two did meet. And Kendra, what was the point in your running journey where you decided to elevate it to the next level and hire a coach? Because not everyone does that.
This is a great question.
What are the goals there?
So one of my dear, dear friends, again, in the same trajectory of
who will be out here pacing you.
I was getting to it.
Okay.
So the beauty, this ties it all together. I can't remember what year it was, but I was running the heavy half this particular year, and I dragged my best friend Claudia into it. So she was out here from Chicago. I came from San Diego at that point. This was probably I think it was 2021.
I'm going through your ultra sign up. I'm like, was it?
It was 2021, because I remember I was just having this discussion with someone else. Anyway, 2021, and we came out, and we were actually staying at the same Airbnb as a lovely lady named Emily. And we didn't really connect at the Airbnb. We connected on Mosquito Pass as we were going up, I think. And my dear friend Claudia and Emily are both very chatty. And we all just ended up having a great powwow struggling up that horrific climb. And so anyway, we became friends. Literally became friends on the mountain that day and stayed in touch. And I have, after that race, gone on to, we did a a running retreat together and like did fun stuff together. And it was actually on that running retreat that she shared with me that she was working with Brian. And so that is how we ended up originally getting put in touch. And Emily and Brian still work together. Emily's been a very, very dear friend. I paced her at Bear to her completion, which was awesome last summer in September. And so, yeah, the plan was actually she was supposed to be running this with me this year, but she didn't sign up fast enough. So she's my sole crew and pacer. And that's her punishment. You know, I don't think she'd say it was punishment, but so she's gonna be here. She's gonna help me finish this crazy race.
So is she gonna crew you and then hop into pace the final bit? Is that the plan?
I mean, we have kind of like I've kind of gotten some of my other new running friends that are running this. There's 3 guys and their wives, and so we kind of partnered together to have like
been adopted into their crews.
Yeah, their wives are not pacing. Emily is pacing, so they're gonna like help with any little things that are needed. For the most part, I feel like Emily and I can take care of this, the 2 of us. But you know, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's totally doable.
Just a day in the woods.
Right.
Yeah,
and
day
a night,
the mountain, and a night, and maybe in the morning.
And
too.
in the morning,
a few hours in the morning.
Nights, you know,
2 sunrises, no big deal.
big deal. No sleep.
So when you met Brian, then were you 100-mile goals on your mind then?
Yeah, I mean, I knew finishing Leadville was always. So I actually signed up for Javelina last year. I unfortunately did not complete it. And I will tell you, Emily was like, your why wasn't big enough. And it was, you know, it's good to have good friends who you can hear honest feedback from. Because honestly, my why for that was Leadville. And that wasn't really a why that would work for a desert race that is not Leadville. But she came out, she crewed me for that. And when I met with Brian, it was let's get started building me to that distance.
And you went in 2017. You showed up at the Leadville 100.
I
with
did.
the coin. And how far did you make it that time?
I made it for roughly 40. We're Twin Lakes outbound.
Twin Lakes outbound. Okay.
So, and I mean, 8 years and a whole lot of, you know, different fitness and knowledge. And I mean, I look back on that and I go, wow, like I came out and I trained, I didn't stay for a long period and I certainly wasn't acclimated for the race. And that is, truth be told, I mean, I can't speak for other people's experience, but in my experience, like I was acclimated for the marathon this year. I had never been acclimated for the marathon any years previous. And I shaved 40 minutes off of my time. Like that's because I was here.
A decade later as well.
A decade later, yes.
Yeah. So you got to also add in the age factor. I mean, not that we're all aging 10
I'm
years.
more fit now than I was 10 years ago.
At some point, that curve goes downhill. Ask me how I know, because I'm old.
I don't believe you. I'm going to be in denial until I don't have to be anymore.
There you go.
Kendra, was 17 your only starting line of Leadville? Okay, so you haven't. I didn't know if you towed the line another time or not. I couldn't recall.
No, and I think I'm glad I took the time that I did. Like, for example, in the beginning of I first started running in 2008. And because I hated running before that, and I was like, I want to love running. So I had a friend who tucked me into an 8K. And after I was trained and ran the whole thing, I signed up for a marathon because, of course, why wouldn't I? Because I'm crazy and I will just sign up for the most extreme thing that I can think of. Ultras weren't a thing then, at least in my mind. Otherwise, I probably would have tried that. But I didn't complete also that marathon in 2008. And I took a year and I, got some understanding under my belt and finished my first marathon in 2010. So for me, 8 years, it's a little different, but a lot has happened in those 8 years. Like I've started my business. There's a lot of life that has happened, which has kind of kept me from this goal. But this goal was always there. Like I'm finishing this race. And this year happens to be the year that I'm doing that.
Okay. So this is your first year going into it coached. I misunderstood earlier. I was thinking you met Brian before your first Leadville.
Yeah, I met Brian 2 years ago.
Few years after. Okay.
Yeah, post COVID for sure. I started my own company in 2018, but I didn't really get big enough until after post COVID.
Yeah,
and I quit my day job.
And I didn't meet Emily until 2000.
So the connections.
Yeah.
Post COVID for sure. Yeah.
So you're ready. So you're way more prepared this time around. Acclimated. You've been through a lot more training, it sounds like, understanding of what it takes. How would you say that confidence level is going in this year compared to that first time?
It's good. The biggest thing, I mean, I have nerves, I have excitement, I have all of those. The key thing I keep saying is like, I've controlled all the controllables for this, and there are so many things that are not in my control. And that's kind of life, but with this race in particular. And I've just, I've come out here, spent a ton of the summer here. I have been training like a maniac, doing everything that I can. I will be honest, the first half of this year, which, I started rebuilding and really starting my training. 3 major events this year happened in the first 6 months that were completely out of my control and really jacked with my training. So from physical illness to life stuff that was really tough. So, it did get to a point where in May/June, where I talked to my current coach and I said, should I do this? I mean, I was signed up for it, and, I was signed up for the camp and I was doing all the things, but I was like, is this an attainable goal if I am fully committed? Like, it wasn't that I wasn't committed. It's, life happened. But so since that point, I have made sure, truly, honestly, like, this is what my priorities are. God and my sobriety is number 1. Number 2 is this race. Number 3 is my job. So in that order, everything else is number 4. And that is how I've approached this. This is that important to me. So I have made it as big of a priority as it possibly can be. So I'm as prepared as I can be. And that's really all I can do, showing up, towing the line on Saturday.
You are all in. I mean, I think, and that's what this race deserves, quite honestly. It needs to be in the forefront of your mind. It needs to be bugging at you and front and center at any given moment of the day in the training process leading up to it. Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, obviously not as your coach currently, but like just in your social media aspects, you're logging all these miles, you're doing all these runs. When you're not up here in the mountains, you've been hitting the California mountains and getting out in the high country of California. I don't even know if you call that the high country, but I don't know.
We can, but it's,
yeah.
The parts,
but,
it gets up
it's
to
higher
like,
it's higher than San Diego.
Fair. I mean, like, I think the closest mountains we have are like 6,000, but if I get up to, like, I can never say the right mountain peak, but it's like San Jacinto or something. That gets up to about 10,000. So
yeah.
That's not too bad. I'm sure it's a drive though. And again,
it's about 2.5 hours
commitment of a day.
Not the 17 that it takes me to drive out here.
That's true.
Yeah, but so I just stay.
I was just going to ask, because you mentioned you've been out there all summer, which I know is hard to do if you've got an in-person job, but you work for yourself, right? Did I see you're a designer?
I am a designer. The best way to describe it is like architectural interiors. I'm technically a licensed interior designer, but a lot of people think that's a decorator. It is not. It is interior architecture. So that is the work that I do, and I love it. And I feel so privileged that I get to do that, and I get to work for myself. So I have a little flexibility and being able to be out here for a bigger chunk of the summer than, say, when I'm working at a different type of job.
Mandy and I can both relate. We're entrepreneurs ourselves. How do you? Oh, I just hit the microphone. How do you juggle it all? How and are you catching all the balls as you're juggling them? How does it all fit?
It's funny. I've actually had this conversation recently. A huge theme of this year, and kind of what I was already sharing about, is I think this goes for all the time, but it's been a really, really important focus is really prioritizing from a, monthly basis down to daily, down to like breaking down my hours sometimes, where it's just like, okay, what is the most important thing that I have to get done today? Usually it's my run. Sometimes things like to make themselves more important, and I have to watch for that. So I have made a very, very intentional focus this year, and certainly in the last few months, this whole summer, of just, okay, does this have to happen today? Because it really, like sharing, sobriety that takes up a lot of my time. I go to meetings, I sponsor women. That in itself is at least 5 hours a week, usually more, because I'm usually going to more than a couple meetings a week. So that's super, super important. So it's a constant daily shifting around of making sure I get everything done. And, I also have a lot of communication with my clients and let them know kind of what's going on. So it makes it allows for there to be a little bit of flexibility and understanding. If I'm like, this week, I'm like, I have really no availability for you. I'm sorry. But, communication goes a long way.
Yeah, I think we totally understand it. I mean, all three of us probably live in that space where it sounds glorious if you're the person that's going to the 9 to 5 office job Monday through Friday. And we don't do that typically, the three of us.
Mm-mm.
But I wound up, I think I was on the computer at 4 o'clock this morning, and I was on the computer till about 11 o'clock last night, just
That's
putting
the
out
part.
fires and doing work. So I don't work a traditional system, and I'm able to go run at noon, but I pay
Yeah,
the price by working till midnight or 11 p.m. most nights of the week and waking up at 4 because it's in the forefront of my mind. Like, oh, I got to get this work done before I head to Leadville.
exactly. I mean, this weekend too is like, get a lot of work done. I wouldn't trade it, and I don't think any entrepreneur would trade it. I think that's why we do what we do. But I've always said, and the joke is like, I work more than I ever have, but also I love it. We love it. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
it's
absolutely. But
more
you
work,
have to,
but it's good. So
yeah, I think sometimes though when we're doing those things, and I think we all live lives like this where we get to work and play and be around the people we want to be around, and it's this town and that town and bop around. There's also has to just be that constant recognition of how all of these dominoes impact one another. And some of them might lay a different way in different months and seasons, but like if we let go of one completely, everything else is going to fall down. And I know none of us are perfect at that. I haven't been the last month. My running career is tanked because I've put way too much effort into supporting other runners, volunteering at races, race directing. And then I'm like, oh, I get to run 2 or 3 miles each time I run. So kudos to you for keeping that up and going in the season of your life and keeping Leadville a priority, because like Brian said, it's a race that demands the respect and the training and that attention in that season.
And I'm grateful that I had the experience in 2017, because that experience showed me where so many of those gaps were in speaking about that. And it's like, no, this, for me, I can't just come here, show up and run this race. I'm not that kind of athlete. I'm very average. I'm proud of that. I put in the hard work, and anyone can do that, I believe. But yeah, I can't just show up and run the race and finish, so. But there are definitely some things I've sacrificed, not to go into any other directions, but I have not dated or had that whole world of mine has completely been shut out. So there's certainly areas that, it's pretty much it's sobriety, train, and work. And that is it. But come September, I get to realign some of these priorities. So,
New
Look out, San
season.
Diego.
And
What did
Kendra's
you say,
coming
Brian?
back to town. I said, look out, San Diego. Kendra's coming back to town.
There you go.
with the belt buckle.
With the belt buckle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I needed this whole time.
It's a good
That could be-
conversational piece. It starts the
Right?
conversation.
Your dating app profile would get a lot of hits if it was just a picture of that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, though.
People don't really
Would you
even
be
know.
intimidated?
So, unless they're a runner.
It's true.
Are you coming with any? Gosh, we are Monday before the race, just to kind of give a quick update. I'm sure the show comes out on Wednesday, so we're a few days before the race. I know we're all, at least you and I, Mandy's not running this year, but you and I are both like hot in this taper and just kind of chilling out. Are you coming in with any strategies for the race? Are you laying out a couple different scenarios, or what does it look like for your strategy this year?
So I've put together yesterday, I kind of that was something that I haven't really mentioned, but we talked about being here and acclimating to the altitude and all that, which is huge. The other piece that has been very, very, very important to me is knowing this course inside and out. So coming up here and having the time here to train, not only for the altitude, but for knowing this course, knowing what it takes. Granted, obviously at different points, I'm going to have much more fatigue legs. I'm going to be in a different, it's not going to be the same as training, but I can get a good idea in doing these different segments, which I have, to understand what realistically is it. And certain parts where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be at this point in the race, like maybe I'll walk a little bit more just to gauge some realistic timeframes. And that has been hugely helpful. Putting together my strategies, like I have 3 different, fast, ideal, and realistic kind of in my pacing strategy. So yeah, I mean, under 30 hours is what that is. Usually I have like 3 goals, like, A goal, B, whatever, finishing. Literally that is my goal. I don't have any preconceived notions of what I'm going to do. It's kind of when I finished the marathon this year, I wasn't racing it, but I was like, well, I'm probably going to do better. But when I got to the last aid station for the marathon, because I knew the course inside and out, and I knew it was straight down for 2 miles, and I saw my time, and I didn't go into that with any goals, but I saw my time and I was like, I could do a sub 7. Like, I was always like over 8 hours. I'm not a fast runner. So it's that in and of itself, and knowing the course and knowing where I'm at in each segment of that course, that is gold for how I run. I think that's a huge confidence boost in being able to like gauge how I'm going through each segment of this race.
You mentioned you came out for the camp, and that allowed you to get eyes on the course as well. But you've also I've seen on social media again that you have been like revisiting those spots and revisiting. I think you did Hope Pass like 3 times in the last 6 weeks or so, or whatever it was.
That and Powerline. Thank you, coach. 3 times in 2 weeks. I was like, is this necessary? But
I'm cringing over here. I don't know how Brian's done this race 10 times.
No kidding.
Not
I'm
yet.
like,
Almost. It's going to be great, Brian. You're going to have so much fun. You're not going to be tired of Powerline at all.
No, it's
Kendra, that's awesome training, though. It sounds like you've really been hitting the key parts of the course that,
and to
like
be
you said, just knowing them.
I think too, for someone who has attempted this before, one thing is you just like have to know yourself. And for me, at the camp and at the 2017, the section after Powerline till you get to half pipe so you have outward bound in between there, but it's pretty flat and it's pretty runnable. Mentally, I found out at the camp, which that was just a rough day in general for me because I had like 2 hours of sleep, which I know during the course it will be like that, but I was also not acclimated at all. And in both of those scenarios, I walked a good portion of that. And I told my coach, I was like, I can't walk that section. That is a runnable section. That is a section that I cannot be losing time on. So a big part of my training, again, is knowing yourself, knowing where your weaknesses are. And that for me, that's a weakness that shouldn't be a weakness. It's, it's rolling in some parts, but like that's runnable. That is not an area that I should be walking. So I was like, scheduling some training where I'm forced to run that a lot so that when I do hit that come race, my mind is like, no, you run this. You don't walk this. So I don't know.
The section is from the bottom of Powerline. It's roughly maybe 25 miles in outbound. And it goes to about 32. So there's a 7-mile section in there. And you're absolutely right. You hit that pavement off of the Powerline itself. And it does roll, but it is runnable.
It is.
The field at Outward Bound has some like gopher holes or some sort of, I don't know what.
Cow pies.
Who lives in that field? Like the marmots? I don't know who's making those holes, but there's big potholes or animal holes in there. Yeah. I think it's gotten better, and every year seems to be getting better and better. The bike race was last week, and they rode through it as well. So there's probably a good single track line in there, at least from the bikers. At a minimum. So it's getting better, but then you pop back out on the pavement before you get on the 2-track dirt road, and you're right, absolutely right. It's a place where we can't, not that we have to make up time, but we can't lose time, right? Yeah, so I think that's putting it in perspective for sure.
It can be hot on that section, like going out, that can be a little hot. There's no cover, but I think being prepared for it, like you said, like knowing what to expect. It's not a beautiful downhill covered in trees. It's flat, hilly.
I know. And then in my head, I'm just like, no, this is not walk time. Walk time is when that hill's really hard. Okay. But no, for me, I had to get over that, whatever was getting me to walk then. So
have you planned out the rest of the course that way? Like, do you have a plan for the rest of the course of I will start walking here, I'll start running here? Are you going to go by feel for some of the ups and downs there? Honestly,
I tend to, because a lot of the other sections, I actually really I'm a stronger climber than I am downhill. So it's funny, like all the times that I've ever done Hope Pass have always been extremely positive. So like, even though it's like hard and like people make it into this big thing, my mind, it's not a big thing. I'm going to be tired, but like, I love Hope Pass. Both sides, beautiful, love it. So, I'm just going to pace myself appropriately for how I'm climbing and descending. But, my biggest gray area, to be honest, is coming back up and over Sugarloaf in the dark when I'm really tired. And that's when Emily is going to have to, she will not let me finish or quit. She will not let me quit. So yeah, I'm in good hands for sure. But that's the part that I'm more apprehensive about. I'm not a fan of Sugarloaf personally.
Or Powerline inbound.
I
Sugarloaf
don't
is the
mind even.
backside.
Oh yeah, I don't mind like Powerline short. It's
Oh,
short.
oh,
It's
sugar. The
fast.
descending of Sugarloafing.
Just the Sugarloaf, that mountain, I don't like. I don't like
Mm.
it. It's the part of the course that I like the least. I don't know why. It's just whatever. It's not the best part for me.
You have a really good friend in Emily. That's pretty apparent. What do you think Emily's going to have to do and say to keep you moving out on the course?
Well, you know Emily well,
I
so
do. That's why I'm asking the question as
I
well.
know. I know she'll say whatever I need to hear, and I don't even know what that is at this point. It's she like has this way of delivering tough love in a like she means business, and like there's no getting around her. Like just she jokes, but she's like you will have to be dying for. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Like she will not let me. So I feel very confident, and to be honest, she didn't get the chance to pace me at Javelina, which is unfortunate because she was going to do the last lap with me. I have full faith and full trust in her, and I know, yeah, it's because I got to pace her too, and I got to see how she was in those moments. Like I don't know exactly. I can't really answer like what she's got to say to me, but she knows me to where I feel like in those vulnerable moments where I'm a crier, I'll probably cry a lot. She'll be understanding, but she will be like, no, like she'll remind me of my why. She'll do whatever she has to. I know. And that's a beautiful thing to have a friend like that.
You're absolutely right. I've worked with Emily for quite a while now, and she has adult children. I think one of her daughters just got married
Yeah.
this summer.
I should turn that question around on you and say, what do you think she's gonna do?
But you're right. I think she's got this tough love about her. She's firm but fair. You know, all the things that I want to be with my own children. You know, I feel like that's like she's got that motherly presence, but a good motherly presence,
Yeah.
not like the ugly motherly presence. You know, like the
No, and not
firm
weak.
but fair. And she's gonna tell you how it is, and there's no beating around the bush. And then she's gonna say, "Let's get this done," and she's gonna keep you moving. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, that's why she's part of my strategy because I couldn't do this without her. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's a delicate balance of the compassion, understanding, but I think the most important part is someone understanding your why and what it means to you, and like them having that respect. And so when you refuse to give up, even though you're crying or in pain, them being able to be open and vulnerable enough, I think, to your pacer and your crew to that, so that they understand that importance. I've always thought that makes all the difference, even if you're not out there with a super strong runner, someone who's been through it before. I think as long as they know what this means to you and what the mission is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you got a good one.
Yeah, I do. And I'm actually, what I haven't shared so much is how incredibly stubborn I am and how I can push back real hard. And that was apparent in my, fourth lap at Javelina. And, I think I full on convinced my pacer that, I thought I was drunk. I was like, it was a whole thing. I know Emily she'll just be like, shut up, Kendra. We're going to keep going. Like, I'm not going to listen to you. And she can put up with me too. So I think that's also a very important aspect to have in someone that will work with you, because I'm not the easiest one either, I'm sure, to deal with in those moments.
Yeah, it's important to have those friends show up for you, especially in a time of need, especially in a big life-changing event such as the Leadville Trail 100. Gosh, if you were to go back to 2017, Kendra, standing at the starting line, what advice would you have for her now, 8 years later? Sorry.
If everything was as it was, I would have said,
right as it was. You today were able to talk to Kendra at 2017 at the starting
line. Like, I'd say you have no chance of finishing this because and not in like a harsh way, but like knowing what I know now and not being acclimated, not knowing the course, and again, that's not for anyone else. That's just for how I need to approach it. Looking back on that, like I had no freaking chance. Like I didn't know what I didn't know. And a huge part of that has been working with coaches, you in particular, who's done this race, 9 times. Like, I don't know, maybe more, but I know you finished it 9 times. So that's like a lot. And I just think, so again, not being harsh or, it's just, I would have looked at that girl and been like, good for you for trying. But like there's so much more you need to be properly towing the start line right now for me. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I understand that. I think I appreciate that, just that raw honesty with yourself, and that shows, I think, how excited we are. Like, and sure how excited you are to see yourself go back into this, because if you've had that kind of awareness, like, man, that's pretty exciting. Like what you've been able to, how you've trained and how you've prepared for it, going from that versus like, oh, I guess I tried a little bit harder this time. We'll see how it goes. So I'm excited to see how you feel after this one. I'm knowing all of the hard work you put in, no matter the outcome or the time or anything. That's hard to be able to speak those honest truths to yourself about, like, good job for being here, but you just don't have what it takes this time around.
yeah, and like I said, the simplest way I can put it is I've controlled all the controllables for where I'm at, for how this year has transpired, for the work, all the things. I mean, I really truly don't believe I could have put any more into what I'm doing, and I will show up and I will absolutely do everything that I can based on what I have experienced, and the rest of it's out of my control, you know.
Knowing you, Kendra, I appreciate that you would be raw and a little bit harsh on yourself of 27 Kendra at the starting line. I think I'd be more concerned if you were like, drink more water, or something like very little and minimal. Like, I mean, like you're like, I mean, there was just no shot in the dark. 2017 Kendra was going to finish that race, but that awareness now shows like just a huge amount of growth, right? Like you've stepped away from that Kendra to be 25 Kendra. I didn't even know what year it was.
Right.
2025 Kendra. So that shows leaps and bounds and knowledge and growth and a comfort level. Maybe not a comfort level, but at least a comfort level in knowing the course and having done your homework and studied the materials and all the things that you've put into this sport and this space in the last 8 years.
And yeah, and I don't want that to be discouraging for anyone else. That I really do want to reiterate that all of this that I share is just my own experience. And for me, and the kind of the way I approach races, the way I approach athleticism, like I'm super, super average. And so like it takes a little bit more for me, I think, to be able to, accomplish things like this. And for somebody else, it might not take the same thing. So I hope that that's not discouraging for anyone. It's really, that's my story.
I think so much of it too just goes back into mindset, like knowing what you're going into, knowing what's ahead of you. If you go in completely blind, it's really harder to deal with the snags that are thrown your way. So I think just even like you going to camp and exploring the mountains and understanding the trails, like it just, like you said, it takes time, it takes commitment, it takes making the effort to do those things, to where any runner, any athlete can do it, but you have to have that focus. You can't just show up.
Yeah. And even just the time spent in Leadville and where I'm staying, and I've run the mineral belt a bunch just for the short random weekday runs that are not like it's very specific. But even when I did the last 2 hours this weekend and I did the start of the course, I just like looped up with the start of the course, and I was like, oh, this is right by those recycling bins that I go to. Just being able to place myself where I'm at in Leadville regarding 2 miles from the start, and being able to be like, okay, I know exactly where this is. I know exactly where I'm at. Like even running that section when I did it at the camp and then running it again last weekend, it's like just all of that information. And I'm sure the more I would do, the more it would even inform that. But that is just gold for me. It's just knowing the courses. I mean, there's nothing that can really top that.
I was wondering, outside of being prepared, what's been your favorite part or most surprising part of this training cycle for you?
That's a good question. There's nothing really like, well, if we're talking physically, my nutrition and really dialing because I'm taking in 80 to 90 carbs per hour. That has changed my physiology and my recovery leaps and bounds. Like through all of my training, like very minimal soreness, and I'm pushing myself. It's not like these are easy runs and like the speed work and the hill work and all of that. Yeah. So that I think has been the most like physically new or informative. And I know that like higher carb nutrition is not a new thing, but for me, it is more new. And then from just like this training cycle, just honestly, the amount of people I have connected with and become friends with. I mean, I feel like I will be leaving this summer with like 30 new friends, 40 new friends. Like it's crazy the connections that I have had the privilege of making while being here. Some runners, some not runners. It's just been phenomenal. And like I'll never forget this summer. It's been one of the best summers of my life. So.
That's awesome. Great answers.
Kendra, do you have any pre-race rituals that you're gonna do between now and then? Like, I think in the past I've like stood at the starting line of like or the finish line of a Ironman triathlon, and like just envisioned what it was gonna feel like to finish in a couple days, and what that was gonna smell like, and what the crowd would sound like, and just kind of like get those senses geared up. You do anything like that? Do you have any thoughts on that at all?
That's great. Great idea. No, while I've been doing these training runs on the course, I've played out, because I am a very visual person. I've played out kind of what things are going to feel like, what things are going to, where I'm going to be at in the course at that point. Also what finishing is going to feel like, because it's going to be daylight and it's, and just picturing that. But no, like maybe I should have some rituals. I keep saying I'm a terrible planner. Like I'm renting a room in a house that I literally got I did not plan for this, even though I know that like places book up and ahead of time. So on the same, what would you call it? Like
Same thread, same vein, yeah.
I don't really have any particular rituals. I mean, it's a miracle that I have the organization that I do. It's funny because my life is so structured, and like I have like a calendar that is color coded and all sorts of craziness. But yeah, no, it's like I'm really in today, other than like planning out, obviously my segments and my paces and things of that nature, and my nutrition and things that you have to do, otherwise you're totally screwed. But other than that, it's just, be present and be with the people that are, running this race and getting excited about it, and, just being part of that energy. And then when it comes time to toe the line and show up, that's where I'm at. So maybe I need to adopt some of these rituals.
Well, here's another question. I'll just go to one last thread of that is like, are you hanging around in town this week and like soaking up the vibe and the energy and that maybe not nervous energy, just energy in general, or are you gonna try to retreat back a little bit and kind of stay out of that?
No, I am fully immersed. I love community, as I've shared, and like I build community wherever I go. And that's really, because that's so important to me. Even the sobriety community out here, I've already like placed myself in that circle, made relationships there, which is awesome. They're not runners, but that's fine, because we can't all be sober runners. So I will be, and that's part of just being here this whole summer, is not just this race, but soaking up. Like there were guests in this house that were biking last weekend, and they're all my friends now, and now we're all connected on social media, and I'll know them forever. So one kid that was in the house, like he got third place for his age. He was 21. It was so cool. Like I'm here for all of it. So I will be fully immersed. I will be fully, soaking up every bit of that energy and community and excitement about the race, nervous and otherwise. Yeah, for sure.
Well, hoping just for the good nerves for you. And I was also thinking, like, for me, I think I've only done it twice. I've only finished twice. I've DNF'd once, but like I would think your strategy of being there all summer and kind of making Leadville like your temporary home hopefully would eliminate some of those race day nerves, because kind of like you said, like even geographically speaking, when you show up to the start line, you know exactly which way is north, south, east, west, you know which way you're going out, you know which way you're coming back. You can be at the start line and know like I'm heading that way and that way, versus like it's dark, it's 4:00 in the morning and you're like, which way are we going? So I'm hoping that some of that comfort of like this home and community you've built like is with you on your heart at the start line, and you're able just to feel that piece of belonging. Like that's what I'm getting from you, is just this sense of like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, and I'm surrounded by the people that I'm supposed to be with in this moment, and Leadville is home at the moment, and this is the mission at the moment, and I know what I'm doing. Yes. And I'm surrounded by a community that has accepted me or that you've created. So I think this is going to be a pretty magical weekend for you.
I think so too. And honestly, to like Ken and Mary Lee's, their whole theme of this race, and like you are part of the Leadville family and all of this, like when they say those things, like to me that's always resonated. And just that's true. And I don't know if that's other people's experience, but that is certainly a huge part of what just brings me back here. Is not only is Leadville home, but like the people that I meet here become family, even though they're in Florida and Texas and Georgia. And, you know, I don't know why they're not from San Diego, because I can't seem to find any. I'm like, where's the San Diego runners? But I guess that's just me.
They're in San Diego.
They're in San Diego. I'm crewing someone. His name's Zarek Zimmerman, but he's from San Diego. I think San Diego. Now I'm going to kick myself if I got it wrong, but he's in the San Diego area.
Okay.
I know that because he's part of like the San Diego Run Club. But I'm crewing him, and he's running, and he's really excited. He's really nervous because he's never run in Leadville. So the why can't I say that word today?
It's hard. Acclimatization.
The A word.
Yeah.
He's never acclimated. He hasn't really acclimated, but so there's at least 2 of you.
Nice.
Yeah, surely there's more.
There's sure, probably. But no, and you're saying too about just even with as much as I've come up here and, you know, come up here for the marathon races or whatever, even with that, there is a different sense of presence from spending the summer here. Like, yeah, for anyone who can do that, I highly, highly recommend. There's nothing better. So
You don't have to convince Mandy and I. We know Leadville as well as a special place.
Yes.
Both of our histories with running and sport, and quite honestly in life, the same thing, community, all of it. Leadville is to all of us a very special place. So we wish you the best of luck this weekend, Kendra. I will see you out on the course at probably a couple different spots.
Way ahead of me, I'm sure.
If not, no, I don't know. We'll see. I'm in that same boat too. I really am shooting for a finish and have a successful weekend. I mean, I'm going to try and I'm going to push myself. But if that means in the golden hour again, that might be in the golden hour again, and that's fine as well.
Yeah, Kendra, I'll be out on the course crewing.
Yay!
So I will be sure to cheer for you. Let me know if you need anything. I was going to make a joke. If you pass by Brian, if he's ahead of you and you're missing any gear or anything, I've found out firsthand that he's willing to give you any gear that he has on him. So just keep that in mind. So if you like lose your sunglasses or something, just be like, hey, Brian, I need your sunglasses. And
Cool.
He's such a veteran at this. He doesn't need the gear anymore.
Good view. Cool. Awesome. Good to know.
The caveat is that I usually, which my close running friends and my guys that have paced me and crewed for me in a long time now would know, is that I carry very little gear. So when Mandy needed sunglasses, they happen to be on my head. They weren't like spare glasses. So you might be hard pressed to find a library of gear. But if you need a hat or sunglasses, I probably got them on my head.
Fantastic. I probably will have those myself, but you know, sunglasses could always fly off. So.
Mandy lost hers at a aid station. So yes.
Well, I lost mine going up Hope.
Oh, I thought you lost
somehow.
At the aid station. I don't know.
And when I got to the aid station is when I realized they were gone. I was going up Hope, probably because I was running so fast. They probably just flew right off the top of my head because I was sprinting up Hope.
Right.
Or was it David Roach's tailwind blowing them off?
That's what it was.
It was.
Did you run it last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were
last
you
year?
were there. Yeah,
David
last
Roach
year.
was last year.
Yeah, Mandy's DNF was last year.
Yes.
Got it.
At 60.
And my
on
finishes were the 2 years before that. So you're right. It was David Roche. I'm going to send him an invoice for that. So you might find a really cute pair of navy blue Gooders going up Hope. And if you did, those are mine.
Those are yours. All right. I'll hold on.
You're welcome to have them.
Thanks, Kendra. I'll see you on Thursday or Friday this weekend. Thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing your story. Again, we're rooting for you, and all the best.
Thank you.
See you in Leadville.
See you. Bye, guys.